from the world to know that, oh, this is the person that's going to be representing Nigeria, for the Miss, Global franchise. But first and foremost, I want to ask you, when you got announced as the winner, what was the first thing that came to your head?
So I wasn't announced winner. I was appointed to represent Nigeria on the global stage, and I am so honored. And I'm thankful to the organization for seeing something special in me, for believing in me, for giving me this opportunity to prove myself worthy. And I'm so excited, and I'm so thankful to them.
Man.
So it's a mixture of excitement and responsibility, because I have to remember that this crown is not just for me. It's a call to serve and to represent girls like me who dare to dream.
Interesting, right? Then, of course, talk about, appointed, announced, appointed. Of course, when they appoint you, they will announce you, and they did announce you to the world that, you are the new representative, for Miss Global Nigeria. But then, let's, take it back. When did this dream start for you?
It started when I was a young girl growing up. I've always, admired the beauty industry, but as I grew older, I realized that it's not just physical appearance and all the glamorous events and pictures we see online. There's a lot of work to do, it's about impact and empowerment. And as I grew older, I'm like, okay, I'm on the right path. At first, I admired it as a young girl growing up thinking it's just beauty, but now as an adult, I see it as a responsibility. So for me, it's like a combination of beauty and purpose.
Interesting. Do you think beauty comes, with a responsibility itself? Being blessed with that, beauty by God, do you think it comes with a responsibility itself?
I believe it does, because you have to be kind to people. You have to show that beauty is not just physical appearance. So your responsibility is to execute that beauty, be kind to others, just do good things that classifies your beauty, not just physical appearance. It should also have that inner responsibility that as well. Yeah,
that's beautiful. And like you said, rightfully, you realize that your beauty comes with purpose as well. And knowing where your motivation came from, where while you were younger. Did you mute this dream to anybody in your family while you were younger?
My mother, I admired how independent she was. She's such a resilient woman. She executes grace, and I've just always admired her, like quietly. I grew up watching her do the things she loved, even though people told her no, she went for it. So that inspired me to always go for what I want, and I've been shining thanks to my mother for instilling such resilience and confidence in me.
Now, it seems, it really does seem like your mom was a very big inspiration, and she was the only one that you mentioned. How did the rest of your family respond to, when you first told them, I want to be a beauty queen one day. I want to go for this pageant and be a beauty queen one day. Yeah.
So I come from a really small family. I lost my dad at a young age, so it's just my mom, my brother, and I, a very close family. So they're the ones that usually tell about my dreams and everything, and they've been my biggest supporters so far, and I'm super blessed to have them around me.
Man, amazing. Let's talk purpose though. For you, where do you merge being, a beauty queen and purpose? Where do you merge it, and what are some of the offshoots of the purpose that you want to achieve, being a beauty queen?
So my advocacy is good health and well-being. I'm passionate about this advocacy because, I mentioned earlier that I lost my dad.
Yes.
So I lost my dad due to health complications.
Wow.
I also faced a near-death situation. So that made me passionate about health, because I came to understand that health is the true core of a meaningful life. And without health, you can't survive. Whether it's mentally, physically, or emotionally, you have to be healthy. So I turned my pain into purpose so that others would not suffer the same thing I suffered. So that's me turning my beauty into purpose and making a positive impact in
that regard.
In the society.
And in action points, what are some of the ways that you've identified, bringing this purpose to life? What are some of the...
So in terms of advocacy, I've done, I usually do tree plantings, like donations in Abuja. And then in terms of my social life, I inspire young girls, and then when they see me, they see themselves as a reflection of me, and then they're like, if she can do it, I believe that I can also chase my dream loudly too.
So you're tackling health from the climate angle. Is that what you're doing? Planting trees, fighting global warming, sustainability, and all of that. That's beautiful, really, for real. Let me ask you a question, and I'd like to hear from your mouth, because I like to ask all beauty queens this question, when they come on the show. Like, people will always say that beauty pageants objectify women. And that it's a bit sexist.
Yeah.
What is your take on that? How do you respond to that as a beauty queen, as a female, and as a queen yourself? How would you respond to that statement?
So I believe that beauty pageant has gone beyond these outdated stereotypes. Yeah, there are lots of stereotypes, but I'm in the industry and I believe that it's a platform for women like me to speak up, tell our story, make positive impact. It also empowers girls like me. And I'm so grateful to this platform for giving me this opportunity to tell my story and inspire a lot of young girls like me.
Man, I feel you. When we come back in a bit, let's go play, a song. There's this question I would like to ask you, because I know, it must have not, it definitely wasn't a bed of roses, roses all true. It wasn't like, just like a smooth sailing all true. I'm pretty sure you would have faced some challenges especially when it comes to, challenges that are very peculiar to being a female and being a very beautiful woman in an industry like this. We'd like to, dig into a little bit of that and then how you're able to overcome all of that when we come back in a bit. All right. In the meantime, it's going on featuring Ashake. I still got, Miss Global Nigeria, Aisha Abubakar with me. With a beautiful smile as well. And I like your, your gold teeth. Okay, all right.
Thank you.
Right there with a beautiful tune, Satisfaction. And we serve you radio for your satisfaction. And of course, you can't get anything better than what you get right here. If you're looking for the dopest midday radio show, with real skills is where you gotta be at. And BBO, holding you down every weekday from 10 a.m. To 2 p.m. as always. You gotta make it a date. And of course, shout out to the entirety of Max H family. We see how the family keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger, and we love you guys for it. I say it all the time, you guys keep expanding. On a daily, we know we're coming here to talk to 1.2 million people on a daily basis. That keeps getting bigger. You guys rock like that. But of course, my special guest is still in the building with me, Aisha Abubakar, the newly crowned Miss Global Nigeria. Looking all fab, glam, classy, beautiful, with an amazing smile as well. And then, a great advocacy, if you ask me, at the same time. But then, there was a chain of thought that we're having before we went for that music break. And I wanted to know that challenge that you faced as a woman in a very sensitive industry as pageantry, and how you were able to, overcome that challenge.
So I faced a lot of criticism, a lot of backlashes, but the one that happened recently was when I decided to take off my hijab this year. I believe that my relationship with God is personal, but unfortunately I faced a lot of backlash that, I've backslided in my relationship with God because I took off my hijab. But I believe that your relationship with God isn't in what you wear. It's personal and it's internal. I'm still very much dedicated to my faith and my belief, and I pay deaf ears to the naysayers because they don't understand my journey, and that's okay. I also see it as a privilege because I see it that I'm trusted to do something important, and it drives me to do better and to also serve and inspire girls that they're very powerful and they can do things without people telling them what to do. Yeah.
So will you say you're still a Muslim?
Yeah, I'm still very much Muslim and dedicated to my faith and my belief.
Some people will actually, get to argue that. So for me personally, let me give you context. I really don't believe in religion, even though I'm a Christian, right?
Are you atheist?
No, I'm not atheist. I believe in God.
Okay.
But I know for me, the only religion that God gave is love. Yeah. So just to put context into it, but I'm a Christian. I love, when I get to worship and praise God and all of that. But then, and I stand as a Christian, boldly anywhere that I go. Yeah. Now, people will say that, one of the physical, embodiment of being a Muslim is also, having that hijab, that your hijab on, and saying, I'm a Muslim and I dress like this and I'm proud to dress like this. Some people would then ask the question that, don't you think that physical representation has been taken away? Something that you could have stood for to say, I can still be a Miss Global Nigeria with my hijab on.
So I love to evolve and I love to embrace every version of me as it comes. Everybody have struggle. My struggle may be me being unable to, stick to the core pillar of Islam, which is covering up, but I also want to show that everybody have struggles, and how you tackle those struggles is what matters, not sticking to it, and staying true to yourself and staying authentic is what was important to me, because that's your true power, authenticity.
I like that. let me take it a bit deeper with
Yeah,
you,
okay.
because I love this conversation, this line of conversation
Yeah.
that we're having. Would you say that, would you really say that women, on a general, basis, Muslim women should be allowed to dress however they want to without any stigma following them and without their heart, being painted as having deviated, from God? Would you say that? And why would you say that?
Okay, like I said, everyone have their own struggles. I can't speak for other Muslim women. What I'm going to do is tell them to find their own unique story, what makes them unique, and stick to it. For me, not everyone will understand my journey. That's my own struggle, and instead of letting it like bring me down, I'm using to make it let me shine.
So if there's a law in that regard, will you support that law? If there's a general law, like there's a reading, a proposition, at Parliament, is that a law that you will support?
Just stick to yourself, like be authentic and stick to what's positive as long as you're making meaningful change in the society.
Interesting. Now let me ask you though, also, I'm curious because you said you're big on your faith still. Can you marry someone outside of your tribe and your faith, and why?
Of course I can. We're all diverse and religion doesn't make us human. I'm going to choose humanity before religion, and I'm going to always preach love. If I fall in love with someone outside of my religion, outside of my tribe, of course I'm going to accept the person.
No, interesting. What if your family says no? What if your mom says to you straight up, Aisha, I love you, I love you from the depth of my heart and my soul, but I am not going to say yes to you marrying someone who is not a Muslim, and then the rest of the family saying that? What would be your response, in that regard? How would you move in that regard?
Okay. My mom is my biggest supporter. She loves everything that I love. So if I bring someone that this is the person I love, she's going to cheer me up and support me. So she's not going to tell me no. I know my mom.
I just put you in that situation. What if she says no? What would you do?
I know my mom. She's not.
I know
going
you
to
know
say
your
no.
mom, but so this is hypothetically, we want to know what you would do if your mom says no. Your mom would not say no. Clarified. But what if she says no? What would you do? How would you move in that regard?
Okay, I'm inspiring young girls to understand that humanity is love and showing kindness, not just young girls. So I'm going to talk to my mom too and make her understand that this is love, and at the end of the day, this is what's going to keep me going, not religion. Because at the same time, bad people hide behind religion. So I'm going to find someone that really loves me and also convince my mom that this is love and this is the right person for me.
Okay, all right. I see you trying to be diplomatic about that. Some friends I know will just say I will elope with him.
No, I'll make her understand, because at the end of the day, I need people to understand that humanity is all about showing love and kindness.
And
Religion also plays a huge part, but you shouldn't be doing the wrong things and judging people because that doesn't suit your narrative.
I feel you. And, I always say it all the time, and I'll say it right now. The only religion that God gave us is love.
Love.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, but conversation for another day. When I bring you on my podcast, we'll break, that part,
Alright,
down properly.
we'll
But then
break it
also,
down.
let's also tap into the female front, the gender front, because you're a queen and you represent so much for, the young Nigerian, women out there. And one of the things that we've noticed is the fact that, there's this gender battle, men versus women, women versus men. Feminism has come to stay. But then, there's also something that we've seen, which is toxic feminism, which, someone like Chimamanda Adichie, who is an ardent, icon in feminism, have said that, okay, yeah, there is indeed toxic feminism out there. So in that regard, as a woman who believes that beauty is not just about physical, the physical, it's about the spirit on the inside, it's about, the values and all of that. What is that one thing that you've observed that current Nigerian women are doing wrongly and they need to do better by?
Okay, if you ask me to define femininity, by popular demand, if you say, is it hating men? I'm going to say, no, I don't support feminism. Yeah. But if you tell me if it's the
equal opportunities,
I'm going to say that yes. And in our society today, women don't get that much opportunity. I study engineering, and in that field, it's always male dominated. I've been told, oh, you look like someone that studies theater arts. So instead of the world telling women what to do, I believe that they should create more opportunities opportunities for women to, show their potential and change the world. And when we come hand in hand with these men, I believe that we're going to go a long way
And I agree with that.
in making a positive change
And
in
I
our
agree
society.
that, and I think I would say that we have men out there like myself, who are they say he for she, right?
Yeah.
Where we really advocate for equal opportunities and equal treatment when it comes to women. But talking about that angle I took you to, what is that one thing? Because we see this out there. There's a lot of things that we've taken out of that healthy space. What is that one thing that you see Nigerian women doing wrongly that you feel they can do better in? Because we just told the men right now what they should do better. That is support women, give women equal opportunity, support the dreams and the aspirations that women have. But also at the same time, women are missing it sometimes in some angles that we see all the time. What is that one thing? Just one. I know there are multiple that you've observed and you think Nigerian women can do better in.
So for women, instead of us trying to overtake spaces, I believe that we should come together and bridge that gap that has been created between the men and the women in the society. So for men, it can be support. And for women, instead of, I know we always want to show that, oh, I can do this more than this. Instead of it to be a competition, it should be we working hand in hand with these men to bridge that gap and work together hand in hand.
Beautiful. On a final note, before I let you go, because I know you still have other media rounds to get to as well. To all the young girls out there, who are looking at you right now, who are listening to you speak, that are aspiring to be a beauty queen one day like you, what is your word out to them, this very moment?
To every young girl listening to me and following my journey, I just want to tell you that you're more powerful than you think, and don't ever shrink yourself to suit anybody's perspective. Dare to dream, shine as bright as the morning sun. Go for what you want regardless of the naysayers. Pay no attention to them, because when you believe in yourself, great doors are going to open for you.
Amazing. And on a final note, what do you want to take to the world about Nigeria? What do you want to tell the world? What's that story that, when everybody meets you, at the global scene, what is that one thing you want them to take away from you about Nigeria?
I'm carrying Nigeria across my chest with so much pride, and I'm going to tell our story, the culture, the food, the Afro beats. I'm going to show the good side of Nigeria and make sure that our voice is being heard and respected globally. I'm also going to make positive impacts that is going to leave a lasting mark here at home.
Amazing. And what's that one, what's the word I'm looking for? What's that one wrong impression that the world has about Nigeria that you like to, change?
Nigeria as scammers. It's not Nigeria, it's the people. And then when we tackle that, I believe that Nigeria is going to be a great and lovely place.
So what will you change, like when it comes to the world? What's that one impression, that wrong impression that you feel like the world has about Nigeria and Nigerians that you would like to change?
I'm going to change the fact that Nigeria is a poor country. Maybe Miss Global, I'm going to show the beauty and the riches and the richness and, everything about Nigeria. I'm going to put that responsibility upon myself to show the world that Nigeria is not poor. We're rich in culture, rich in kindness, rich in love.
And we're rich in riches too.
We're rich in riches.
The leaders just need to send the money to where you ought to be.
We're rich in riches.
All right, thank you for coming through on the show today.
Thank you for having me.
And we look forward to having you real soon. When you come back from your sojourns and your trips and some of the things that that you're trying to do to help uplift the green, white, green. We say kudos to you and more strength to your elbow.
Thank you so much.